Good morning, friends on Facebook and YouTube. Let's get the connection going to Instagram. Let's see. Go live. All right. Yesterday, I had to coach myself. Good morning, friends. This is the morning report from the Working Actor NYC. This is your place for resources and real life stories and inspiration and strategies for building a successful and sustainable acting career. I spend a lot of time helping other actors take the next step. And yesterday I had to help myself. Yesterday wasn't a great day. I don't know why it struck me so particularly yesterday morning. Perhaps it's because it was my birthday on Saturday, and that can often be a time of reflection, a time when we look at where we are and what we're doing, and whether we're still aligned with our purpose and the things that we wanted to do. But for whatever reason, yesterday it just hit me hard that because it's the middle of the year now. I mean, like 2026 is half over, y'all. And in that moment of reflection, I was like, I made a very conscious decision 6 months ago to not take regional work, to stay in New York City. And that was so that I could get TV and film opportunities moving. The only way to get TV and film opportunities moving is to just be in New York City. Because being out away from the city for even a week immediately discounts you from outside work days for TV and film opportunities. And so I made a very conscious decision, told my agent, I'm not leaving New York City for 6 months. And, did some jobs here, got to do high spirits at City Center for encores, which I loved. Did a couple of filming gigs, a couple of voiceover gigs. So it's not been empty by any means. But I realized that I had hoped that in that 6-month period, I would be able to feel the momentum of TV and film. I've been going to so many workshops with casting directors in TV and film and going to so many events and opportunities. And yesterday, I couldn't feel that momentum. And so I asked myself, what advice would I give a coaching client if they said this to me? And that's exactly what happened. I just had to sit myself down and say, I sort of realized that I hadn't been looking after my artist. There's a famous book by Julia Cameron called The Artist's Way, and it is helpful for artists of all stripes and kinds, but particularly writers. And one of the things that she does is there are two major tools. One is morning pages, where you take a notebook and every day you write. I no longer do morning pages. I did for years. Oh my God, and I kept all those notebooks. I think there's a box downstairs, at least one box downstairs with, oh no, during pandemic, I threw them out. I ditched my box full of notebooks stuffed full of my morning pages. But the other major tool is called the artist date. And once a week, you take yourself, or you take your artist on a date. And I kind of realized that for all of the events that I had been going to, Tribeca Festival, SAG-AFTRA Foundation, conversations and panels and screenings, for all of the times that I had taken myself to these events, there was a part of me that was at work. And I realized that I hadn't taken my artist for a date that wasn't work. So I didn't suddenly book a TV show. I didn't work on an audition. I took my notebook and I went to Central Park. I I couldn't tell you the last time I went to Central Park. And I just needed a moment that wasn't my neighborhood. I live in Bushwick in Brooklyn. Um, I, I will say one thing about Bushwick is that I'm not really close to a fantastic park. About 45 minutes up the hill is a reservoir, an old reservoir that's kind of nice. But I just needed to be out of this environment. I needed to shift my perspective and shift my experience into a part of New York that I don't normally access, just as a way of shifting my perspective. I just needed to literally shift where I was in the world. I took my notebook and I sat under a tree and I did some writing. And just I do find it one of the most helpful ways that I process through emotional material is just by getting out my notebook and writing about it, just so that I can take the thoughts out of my brain and put them onto a page. And it helps me. It does help me empty out when stuff gets complicated and busy up here in my brain. I find that putting it down on paper helps me process through. Please take that with you. Um, and then when things were clearer for me and I had been able to, and it really did shift me, literally just being in Central Park and sitting under a tree and sitting on the grass with my shoes off, something that I do not normally do. Uh, it really did shift my mood. It shifted my brain space. I was able to get perspective on the experience that I'm having right now. And then I came home and unpacked the external storage device that I had bought myself. Because when we did our podcast on Saturday, it all came crashing down because my poor little old 2020 laptop, she got overwhelmed and it was all too much for her to process. And so I needed to shift a lot of the memory, a lot of the files that were being stored in the memory of my laptop onto an external device. And so I spent an hour working on that last night, and I hope my laptop's feeling better. We're gonna, when this is over, we're gonna give her a restart, and it just made my workspace. God bless you. May everything you're going through be smooth. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. But it's just these simple uh, tools that we can all use, like literally physically putting ourselves in a different physical space, helped me shift and jog myself out of the difficult mental space that I was in. So that was the first tool, is literally physical shifting myself. Second tool was writing it down to get it out of my head and onto the page. And the third tool was coming home and doing something useful, something very utilitarian. Um, and it's something that helps future Benjamin. It's like by making my workspace, I mean, by making my workspace flow more easily just by using that external storage device, I'm taking care of future Benjamin. Here's the thing. I want you to know what I have written on my whiteboard, right? In fact, I can show you. What I have written on my whiteboard right here. The thing that creates momentum isn't confidence, it's commitment. It's continuing to show up when the outcome is invisible. And I need that reminder. This is something that I work through with my coaching clients, and it's something yesterday that I need to coach myself through. Uh, here is the part that I don't give myself credit for. My life has changed so much in the last year, and especially in the last 6 months. I have gone from, oh, it'll be fun to make a podcast with my friend and promote that on social media, to becoming a content creator and building a coaching business, because there are so many actors who use the tools that I have learned, the things that I have learned, and I can focus other actors on with their careers and help them kickstart the momentum into shifting themselves and their careers in the direction that they want to go in, so that that gives them the energy to keep working and keep stepping forward when the money isn't there, when the auditions slow down. And it's been so incredibly joyful and fruitful for me, and the satisfaction that I get from seeing that progress in my coaching clients. One of my coaching clients just is shooting a pilot this week. This was an actor who came to me 6 months ago and says, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to get back into into my acting career. There's a great speech that starts with the idea, "Make your bed" by Admiral McRaven. Charles, I'm gonna write that down. Um, Make your bed. We are gonna look that up. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. Uh, I hope you're having a day off today, Dave. I hope you get to relax and enjoy the cornfields. Um, but the thing that I sort of haven't given myself credit for over the last 6 months is that because I've increased my output of video content, I'm now a media company. Like, I'm literally this one person media company, and uh, I want my tools to be able to cope with that. And there's one thing to be said for uh, taking radical ownership of your creative life, which is another thing I've been sort of, because there's been all of this chatter about, I don't want to have to create my own work. I should be able to, as an actor, just go to acting class and that should be enough for me to make it. And we are all constantly told to create our own work. And I interpret that as being, take radical ownership of your creative life. And in whatever way that stimulates you. It doesn't have to be, you need to become a writer who creates a television pilot in which you will star as an actor, right? It doesn't have to be that drastic. Take simple steps towards ownership of your creative life. And maybe it is just writing jokes in a journal. Maybe it is creating 10-second joke videos for your social media content. Maybe it is getting together with a group of friends and reading a play once a month. Whatever it is, take radical ownership of your creative life. And there's a part of me that I think felt like that meant working harder, but it also means taking care of the person who's doing the building, taking care of the person who's building the career. And that's what I did yesterday. And that looked as simple as taking the subway into Manhattan to go to Central Park and sit under a tree with my notebook and watch a turtle crawl across the grass into the pond. And it's can be simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. And that's what I discovered yesterday. Um, this is this is how we build a sustainable career. This is how we build a sustainable life, protecting the artist, radical ownership, the emotional friction that we encounter along the way. It can all be part of the momentum that we need, deserve, can make happen for ourselves. This has been very self-centered edition of the Daily, but I want to thank you all for joining me. But I want to ask you the question, how are you taking care of your artist this week? Um, in those moments when things start to feel overwhelming or too much, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. For me, it was as simple as just shifting the literal place where I am in the world to another place in order to get a different perspective on what was happening, and also taking one fruitful action that moves future Benjamin forward. Um, so I want to know what you're working on, and I want to make sure that you have the tools that you need to take care of your artist. This was something that I sort of created for myself yesterday that I'm going to be posting in a minute. Hope is heavy. So is carrying a career. That's why we have to become the kind of people who know where to put it all down for a while. All right, I hope this has been helpful to you. It's sure been helpful to me to process through everything that's going on. Uh, where are we at? Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate the subscribe, Panhalip. Thank you so much for being here, Hamid. I appreciate you. I will be right back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. so that we can. Oh, I missed something. Driving through the cornfield, therapy for a small town kid. That's it. It is driving through the cornfields in Missouri. I know exactly what you're doing, Dave. I hope that's calming and relaxing for you. And I will be right back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Uh, wherever you are in your acting career, you got this. Keep going. All right, friends. I'll be right back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I'll see you then, okay?